I'm Joshua. I am 46 this year. I'm from Singapore. To date, I have done two backyard ultras. Both were held in Singapore, and my best was last year, where I happened to have won it in with 51 loops. I first got to know about this race back in 2020. Yeah, actually, it was one of my friends who was invited to join the race in Singapore, and I happened to know about it. And when I learned that this race is also known as the last man standing race, I thought, wow, it sounds so cool. Yeah, and I immediately somehow I just fell in love with this race. I love the idea of it, to run until every runners give out or drop, and until one person left in the end. Yeah, so ever since then I love this race. Yeah, so back then in 2020, it was still during the pandemic period, so it was a closed event, and it's not like anybody can just sign up for it. You need to be invited for the race. Initially, I wasn't, but a friend of mine who was invited, another friend of mine who was invited for the race, he wasn't keen to join the race, and but he knew that I was, so he helped me to speak to the organizer, and then after some clarification, I was in the team. So that was how I got started in 2020 that I started my first backyard ultra. I think many of my friends, my running friends, I think many of them uh, find this kind of race very boring. You have to run the same loop over and over for many hours. Many people find it difficult to understand why people are doing this. Even I have friends who are ultra runners. Yeah, they're not keen in this race. They find it difficult especially for the mind. Yeah, but somehow I've never had problem doing races like that. I've done 12-hour races, running loops and loops before, and I totally enjoy it somehow. I'm not sure. I am not sure why, but it's just maybe a personal preference. So when I learned about this race, yeah, you run loops and loops until the last man left. Uh, I I I find it interesting somehow. Yeah, I think the idea of getting back, and you get a little bit of rest, and you recharge yourself again, and you go again. Uh, it allows you to really stretch your physical limit, to really test how far your physical body can last. Yeah, so somehow this idea, yeah, I love this format very much. Yeah, I find the nutrition is very challenging. It's the most difficult part, because firstly, you need to make sure you have sufficient, and taking sufficient calories, energy, and electrolytes to keep going on. But that's only the baseline, the first part. Well, you can plan all this, but sometimes way into the race, your body is felt so terrible. You might not even want to, your taste bud are gone. You lose appetite, and you just don't want, the body just couldn't take in much food. So that's where the trouble comes. And your body is unable to replenish. So I think that is the very one of the most challenging portion for this race. You need to make sure your body is well and good throughout the entire race, so that you can sustain yourself. Yeah, I find myself. I think I'm quite a patient person. So and this race, exactly, you need to be patient. Doing the same thing over and over and over again. You know. So if you're impatient, and you maybe you just running at a relatively slow pace, sometimes it's also difficult for runners. So some runners who are impatient and you want to go faster, in at certain loop because they are just too bored with doing the same thing. They may get into trouble somewhere down the line and then couldn't maintain the pace and. So I think being patient does play a little bit to have a successful race for the backyard ultra. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's linked directly, but yeah, in 2020 when I took part in my very first one, it was the first time for in Singapore. So it was a first for most of the participants in Singapore. So I believe most of us just went for it and then to try to do as much as we can. So same likewise for myself. I don't know how many loops can I do, and although yes, deep down in my heart, I have this hope and this dream of being the winner, the last man standing. But back then, being the first time, okay, I just went out and tried my very best, and I didn't. So I stopped at 23 in the first year. In my second attempt, which is last year, well, I would say I have a little bit of experience already, and then I was preparing. I remember that I prepared my nutrition much better than my first year. So carefully deciding what kind of food should I take during the race, and of course the training as well. I train much harder than the first year. So in my second year, I definitely wanted to do better than my first year. Again, I bear the hope of being the last man standing, but I knew that back then there were several other runners whom I feel that they are much better runner than me. I say that because it's all based on the past records of races that they have done from 50 kilometers to 100 Ks to or even 100 miles. So there are several of these runners who were very strong, and they have done better than me in all these races. Uh, so um, well, I have better hope. I know that it's a difficult challenge, but I'm fortunate enough to win last year race. And after winning, it qualifies me for this year's World Championship, and it's something that I've never thought I will be doing. So this year, I don't know what to expect as well. I know that I'm faced with all the elites, champions from all over the world, and I just want to do my very best and improve on my personal record. Yeah. I think training is a interesting topic for among backyard ultra runners because I think uh, I will assume not many people truly know how to train properly for backyard ultra. It's unlike traditional races, 50 Ks or 100 Ks or even 100 miles or more, where you know exactly the distance that you are running, and the aim is to do it in the fastest possible time you ever can. So the training is more structured. You can plan to train properly for such races. Yeah, but for the backyard is so unique. Nobody knows the distance that you're going to run. It can be 100 miles. It can be 300 miles. So there lies the challenge. How do you really train for it? Yeah. So for me, I started with just doing about 20K a day, 20 kilometers a day during the weekdays. And over the weekend, I'll do slightly a longer distance. So that gives me about 120 to 150 kilometers per week of mileage. And gradually, I increase it the aim is to increase it to up to 200 kilometers for myself. And I also will do double sessions, a morning run and an evening run. I was deciding whether to do more longer runs like 40K, 50Ks a day, in one shot, or to split it out into two sessions. Eventually, after reading some articles, I decided that I think splitting into a double session seems to be a better choice. So that's what I've been doing in my past few weeks of training, double sessions of 20. So usually I'll do a 20Ks in the morning and then a 20K in the evening. That gives me about 200Ks a week. Yeah, that's how my current training is like. Yeah, I think it's really a awesome feeling. I feel very honored to be able to represent my country for this race here in Tennessee. It's especially this year, it's going to be the biggest backyard ultra ever, with all the superstars and all over the world. Is really going to be an eye opener for myself, and I am truly very excited for this in happening in 2 weeks time. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of mixed feeling. I've been training for so long. I am so sick and tired of the training. I want to get it over with, but yet at the same time I am also very much looking forward to start this race and to really to meet all the awesome runners all over the world. Yeah.